Hello, Algebra 1 students. We're back in our absolute value function syllabus, and we are on lesson 4, tier 1. Check off our booklet and scroll down to lesson 4, tier 1. And we are dealing with another transformation. It's a vertical reflection. So a vertical reflection flips the function over the x-axis. So what does that mean? Well, let's come down here and explore a little bit with this function. And the thing that notes that we have a vertical reflection is having a negative in front of the absolute value expression. Before we even plot in our table here, I want to come over here and I want to quickly sketch the parent function. Because we got to get used to understanding that all the absolute value functions are based off this parent function. So again, it starts at the origin and it's 1, 1, which is here, and then 2, 2, which is here, and then negative 1, 1, and then negative 2, 2. And this right here is going to be our parent function sketched out on our graph. Okay, so now that we have our parent function, I want to come over here and explore this into my graph. If I plug a negative into the absolute value function, like negative 2, I'm going to get negative absolute value of negative 2, which is going to give me negative 2, because this negative inside goes away with the absolute value bars. The negative outside stays. So if I plug negative 2 in, I'm going to get negative 2 out. And the same with negative 1. If I plug negative 1 in, I'm going to get negative 1 out. And obviously if you plug in 0, negative 0 is just 0. But now also if I plug in 1, the absolute value of 1 is 1. I still have this negative right here out in front. So when I plug in 1, I'll get negative 1. And when I plug in 2, I'll get negative 2. And now when we plot those points, 0, 0 stays the same. And then we have negative 2, negative 2, negative 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1, and 2, negative 2. When we sketch this, we can see it flips completely over the x-axis. And we get the same parent function reflected upside down below. Describing what just happened, it takes the parent function and flips it over the x-axis. Looking at a second example, again, I'm going to start by drawing the parent function in red. And we know that the parent function is at 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, negative 1, 1, negative 2, 2. We can sketch our graph. So there's our parent function. And now let's input our inputs into the given function here. Don't let this function scare you. It just has a second transformation besides the reflection. So here's our reflection in front of the absolute value notation. And then this, if you remember, is a vertical transformation of down 2. Filling out our table, if we put negative 2 in for x, we get the absolute value of negative 2 is 2, but then we have this other negative in front, so it becomes negative 2 minus 2, which gives us negative 4. We put negative 1 in for x, that's 1, but again we have that negative out in front, so it becomes negative 1 minus 2, which gives us a negative 3. If we put 0 in, we get 0 as the absolute value, and negative 0 is still 0, and 0 minus 2 gives us negative 2. If we input 1 for x, we get absolute value is 1, but we still have this negative out in front, so we get negative 1 minus 2, which is negative 3. If we put in 2 for x, we get the absolute value of 2 is 2, but again, this negative's out in front, so we get negative 2 minus 2, which gives us negative 4. So now we can come to our graph and plot these points. We'll plot those in purple. And we get negative 2, negative 4, negative 1, negative 3, 0, negative 2, positive 1, negative 3, and positive 2, negative 4. And that gives us the graph of our function. That looks like that. And then if we examine this to answer the describe the transformation part, we can see, let's draw in our x-axis here, that first we reflected it, that's what that's doing. We reflected it over the x-axis, turned it upside down, and then we moved it down, which is what this term is doing, 2 units. Describe the transformation from the parent function. So I would call it a vertical reflection, then down 2 units.